in our area that I feel are very important. Number one is Larry's Dam, and number two is Jimmy's Dam. Just explain to me how you were involved. How did it happen? How did Larry's Dam happen? How did Jimmy's Dam happen?
This was before my time. I had an uncle called Laurie Leggett who constructed, being a builder, didn't construct them very well. Both dams. And the Jimmy's Place Dam, which is now called Jimmy's Place, as you know, I think 2 or 3 years ago broke. But that was constructed from the time I was a young boy, 5 years old. I used to come out to the farm, spend my time around Larry's Dam, Jimmy's Place Dam, and of course you haven't mentioned the most important dam, it's the FU Dam. Now, water has been my passion all my life because of what it brings into my life. Yes, I've been a farmer all my life. I've farmed lilies, I've farmed pumpkins, I've farmed onions, but it's not the crop that can be gained from the land. It's the water that gave us a chance to reap something. But to me, the crop wasn't important.
So if we could just go back to Larry's Dam and Jimmy's Dam, the two dams that I think are very important currently in terms of the water for the game reserve, and then for you, which is very important for you, is the FU Dam in your life. Okay, so if we can just go back to your water, you were saying that the water was important to you as a farmer. Please explain.
Well, the family, Laurie Leggett, farmed this family farm of ours for many, many years. He also had cattle. If you fly over the old farm, you'll see the drinking troughs. So there was cattle on the Larry's part of the farm, and there was agriculture, apricots, pomegranates, onions, tomatoes, everything I hated was on my part. And of course, the introduction of the pecan nuts, which I just couldn't understand. I couldn't understand the reasoning why pecan nuts compared to lucerne, but so be it. I was young, I wasn't able to put my views at that time, so the pecan nuts were planted. So the water was used for agricultural purposes. But from the time that the dams were there, I saw another reason for the dams, and that was the bird life in particular, and the game, not so much that time before Dinokeng, that were able to come to the water. But what happened over the years was the passion for the indigenous duck, and then the bird life that was wanting to be near water. Now that to me was something that nobody in Dinokeng or this area of Hammanskraal Klip could have had. We had it. And that's why, as I said, I've been so passionate about trying to enlighten the other factors, the human factor, the family, that dams weren't there to swim. Go to Hillcrest, you can swim there. Weren't to play soccer on the side of the dams because Berea Park. There were all many soccer clubs in Victoria. But over the years, my family in particular didn't understand that what we had there was wild. And we were there by their invitation. And unfortunately, it's taken me so many years to try and convince, and now I'm having a problem trying to convince the Dinokeng people that ducks, birds are wild. So the people will come visit Dinokeng and expect the ducks not to fly away when they decide to get out their cars and walk straight towards the dam. But that's a personal anger that I've had for so many years, and I think I failed because I have not been able to convince people that water brings life.
It's a very, very important observation in terms of water versus life. If one takes into consideration that Dinokeng is considered the second best birding area in South Africa after St. Lucia,
Yes.
that means that there's a lot of bird life that is associated with water in the area. So it's very, very important.
But then why, Derek, why are people not using that, the water, and also the knowledge that we have this vast amount of bird life? Now, I've had the pleasure of inviting people that are passionate about birds to Jimmy's Place Dam. And there's a group of friends, and Darby Chamberlain, etc., from Whips. They will arrive there and spend the whole day walking. The only criteria or only demand that I said to them, they may use the dam, but I wanted a list of every bird that they had seen that day. They would come out and braai their little food and have competitions amongst themselves who produced the best plate of food. But when they packed up and left, there wasn't a cigarette stomping, there wasn't a matchstick. The place was quiet. There was bliss. Now, why can't other people have the same attitude?
Now, I think a lot of it has to go to education, and I think that's in Dinokeng, it's something that a lot of people are missing, is the fact that we actually need to educate people. And I think you're going along the right way in trying to educate people. Was this the reason why you created the FU Dam? Tell me a little bit about the FU Dam.
I actually laugh about it because I'm not ready for nothing. I was angry because Therese McLaughlin, my ex-wife, and I grew up, built, lived for many, many years on Jimmy's Dam. And in my negotiations with the family to try and buy the family farm, I naturally failed in buying Jimmy's Place. And with Jimmy's Place being bought, there were other members of the family who believed they would be able to come to Dinokeng and play the scale electric cars, what do you call it? No? Play soccer, play netball. And what happened was that the amount of bird life that had been on Jimmy's Place Dam over the years, because I lived there, then slowly disappeared. And I then decided to build a third dam. And I, being childish I suppose, decided to call it the FU Dam. And I had a board made, framed, which was on the other side of the dam, and certain members of my family got to know it and realized why, and they thought to them it was a joke. It wasn't a joke to me, it was just my way to say, fuck you. Now, to date, I've sold the farm. I have a problem with the new owner, also not observing the rules, in my opinion, of nature. But I can say clearly there's between 6 and 8 different species of indigenous duck that regularly come down to my dam, which gives me the most amazing pleasure at this stage of my life. I've, as I say, sold the farm, so I need to go and find another water area, and I think I hopefully have found it on the Buchenhout Cliff. So my intention, with help and with years and the ability, I'm going to build the biggest fuck you dam in Dinokeng.
That certainly is a very ambitious scenario that I think it would be great. I think at any water source in terms of Dinokeng is valuable. And unfortunately, the problem here is that the landowners don't see it in this respect.
Each person has got their own views about what they want to see when they come to the game reserve. I wish that people would remember that this game reserve is not the Big Five. Yes, the Big Five is what everyone seems to want to see. And when they don't see it on a particular weekend, they get angry. But if they could just understand that Dinokeng is made up of a lot more than the Big Five. It's all the small birds, the small mammals, etc. You can look at a bird for an hour. I could. How many people can look at a bird for an hour? And this is what I think we are failing. People want to come in, and within 24 hours they want to see the Big Five and they want to go home. What memory do they have of Dinokeng? We, of course, with the Big Five, can't take them on walks. There are people that are doing it, but you've got to be able to educate them at bird hides, or being able to walk quietly, slowly. There were times that I could walk up. Yes, when I was a young boy on our old farm, I walked into a herd of kudu fast asleep with my heart thumping so loudly I thought they must hear me. They hadn't, because I learned and knew how to walk. Now we don't know as humans how to walk. We walk over everything. I've been involved in Dinokeng from the day this dream started. I'm extremely proud to have seen how far they've progressed, but they could have progressed so much further. I've seen some passionate landowners involved in this dream. I've seen many of these landowners deciding they can't carry on with this dream because of the interference of our landowners who don't see the bigger picture. Whether it'll ever change, I personally doubt, because we do not have that camaraderie of believing in one thing, and that is the dream that Dinokeng will succeed, and the controls that are needed to make this dream succeed. We are inviting people to come and spend weekends here. So what has happened from this game reserve where I wanted not to share, we've been forced to share. And unfortunately, as you've said this now, we have not educated the people that come to Dinokeng. They expect to see the big five. They expect to be able to do what they like and when they like. And unfortunately, when you come to visit a place like Dinokeng, you've got to understand that this is not their territory. It belongs to somebody else. It belongs to nature.